Okay, so I've gone live now, okay? Did you see anything on your end? Okay. Yeah, I'm already live. Yeah, it's 43 seconds into live. I wish there's a way to zoom out of this thing. Besides moving back, I don't know how to zoom out of this thing. Because Swamiji's on one side. Okay, I'll have somebody move the camera then. Like that. Okay. Okay. Now, okay, it's coming, right? Now, what you need to do is you need to message me the live stream link for this. Okay? Okay. Okay, we're done, right? It's working, right? Okay, thanks. Bye.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Very welcome and namaste to everyone. Thank you all for coming and apologize that the program got a bit late and bit hassle. We are so blessed and grateful that NAIVY, who is the Vice President of Vihangam Yoga, and he is on the world tour. All the way he came from India, he went to London and then to Canada and Vancouver, and now just for one day he has come to bless us. And then from tomorrow he is flying again back to Toronto, and then from there he is again going to the East Coast. So he's like completely traveling. So thank you very much, and thank you Sanji for coming us and giving us the time. So we'll start the program by offering a prayer. This was a prayer that with two prayers, we first welcome the Sanji and Sadgurudeo to bless us, who is the invisible power around us here, and also the bless the world with peace and happiness. So these two prayers, and with this we will start the event, and we'd like to introduce Satnam Dev Ji, who is a yogi of the higher order, the one who is ushering the true human renaissance in the world. And he is the founding and building blocks for the inspiration to thousands in India and the world. He is imparting universal knowledge of real essence of yoga, because there are lots of confusion always, like what is yoga? So he's truly imparting the universal knowledge about it. And he's here to help people with a lot of questions that we always face, the challenges we face to do meditation and teach the ancient technique of Vihangam Yoga, which was always present in the Vedic scriptures. And he is, the Vihangam Yoga is also part of United Nations EcoSoc Council. With this, so now I would like to request Sanji to give us blessings and give us the great knowledge to impart so that we can uplift ourselves.
Can I have a small light, please? See how dark it is because of the changing.
So much for today. So I feel really delighted to be here. Thank you so much. It's always wonderful to be in this part of this country. And I'm sure that you are occupied with so many other things, and there's a festival tomorrow, there is a function, the mastering. It's a huge celebration. I'm talking to. And you have attracted this session today, which is actually about yoga. And it doesn't seem like a coincidence, does it? So it's no matter of chance that you are here. It indeed is divine force, probably, that has drawn you to be here today. As tomorrow happens to be the incarnation of Sri Krishna himself. So let's talk about Sri Krishna to begin with. Well, Sri Krishna, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, it came about a time when there was no structured religion. So whatever you know today as the means of an institution called religion, as Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Judaism, whatever that you know of, when he came about, there was no religion. Because he came about 6,700 years ago. Islam came about 3,700. And before that, Christianity came about just 3,000, 4,000. So when the teachings happened between in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, I'm sure that you all are aware of it. So the conversation between Arjuna and Sri Krishna Bhagavan, at that period of time, there was no religion as such. Now, as the time evolved, few of the concepts which also got convoluted, because everything changes with the time, and anything that goes beyond the time and space reality is actually the truth. So the teachings even today is as much relevant as it was then during the period of the battlefield. We still have so many Arjunas here with a lot of confusion and bewilderment. So as Arjuna was so confused and found himself in a chaos, as how could he go and fight against his own family members? And he said that, Katham Vishmam Ham Sankhe Drodam Chapadasudana. How would I go and fight with them? Katham Vishmam Ham Sankhe Drodam Chapadasudana. How would I go and fight against Dronacharya? Because he considered them as Pujar Havari Sudana. They are, from my point of view, they are worth being worshipped. How would I go and fight against them? We have so many confusion about so many people that we ourselves are not sure what to do with them. Shall we have a very cordial relationship with them? Shall we stand up and fight? So we are as bewildered and confused as Arjuna. And it all happens with our mind. So the yogis are the ones who could actually control the very chemical secretion, so to speak, of the human body. Because everything happens in here, in your awareness. And anything that is not happening in your awareness is the habitual pattern that you have been following unconsciously. And it has become rather you. So let me say, rephrase it. Suppose that you have this body, you have this conscious body, and you are aware of this body. You are aware about each movement of this body. But mostly what happens is, at times of turmoil, if you are not sure about as what step you should take, you are instigated by the events of the past, what you have done regarding the similar pattern of the events that happened in the past, and based on that incident, you are more prone to make decisions accordingly. So here you can actually bring disruption in your present situation by creating the gap between your body and mind. But are you able to do that? Mostly we are not able to understand this because at times the very pattern of the body, which is nothing but the encapsulated different eclectic information contained within this body, which is making decisions based on the events of the past. So if you bring clarity at this point in time, if you bring awareness at this point in time, you would know exactly where you are headed towards and what you should be doing, because most of the time you are caught off unconscious. Things just happen and you do not have control over things which have just gone by. And what has just gone by cannot be just termed as this is who we are. So anything that goes wrong, oh, that person is like that only. Oh, that person is like this only. We usually term that person as this or that. But once you are aware about it, that you could not be any better than the situation itself, then the situation is dominant on you and you cannot allow the situation outside, which is nothing but your reflection to it for a longer period of time. This is how you have reacted to situations. over and over again, unconsciously, and it has become akin to your nature, to your situation. So what happens is, once you are able to realize this fact, and you can create a distinction that this is not me, or I could be much better than the situation that I'm going through. I don't have to be any of these connotations. Maybe certain section of society say this about me, or this specific person calls me this or that. I do not have to fall prey to these situations. I could be in control of my emotions, no matter what I see outside, no matter what happens outside of me. I could always be in control of my own emotions. And if one cannot do that, then one is far away from being a yogi or whatever. That's a very initial stage. If you could do this one, because this body is the biggest chemical factory in the world, and this secretion of the different chemicals within this body cannot dictate your well-being, emotional or physical. Because even the element that we have is nothing but the reflection of the inner well-being. If the inner well-being is not in right order, the very manifestation of it will be of the sickness or an element. So it is important to understand that we cannot allow any situation that happens outside of us to dictate our inner well-being, because this is exactly what you can control. And what you can control, you just cannot squander it away. That's why in dhyana, we start with the controlling and taming the monkey mind, because Arjuna had the same question, and he said to Shri Bhagwan Krishna, Chanchalam hi manaha Krishna, Paramarthi Balamadriham. In Bhagavad Gita, he said, the mind is very difficult. Chanchalam hi manaha Krishna, Paramarthi Balamadriham, Tasyaham Nigraham Manye Vayu Sudaskaram. It begins with there. And again, we will be learning the same technique of meditation today. And tomorrow, as it happens to be the incarnation of Lord Himself, what better day there could be to learn the meditation that He Himself imparted to Arjuna. So, in the year 1888, His Holiness Sadgurudeo Maharaj was born in a village, Bariyar. It's a place called Pakri, very close to Varanasi, about 165 kilometers. And he went into deep meditation. He was a yogi of the highest order. When he was just 5 years of age, he would call upon his own family members and ask them to come before him and take a bow before him, in fact. And people would just consider him as a child. As he grew and his curiosity towards his spirituality started growing more and more, seeing this inquisitiveness towards his spirituality, the people from the village decided to assign him a specific place where he could go and meditate. Now, Sadgurudeo Maharaj went into deep meditation for 17 long years. He captured everything that he could feel during his meditation, but once upon a time he felt as if someone had touched on the top of his head. And there was a light, and there was also a sound from the void that said that the meditation that you're doing will lead you to some level of achievement on a very surface level, but it won't take you to the divine zone. And then His Holiness Sadgurudeo Maharaj got really anxious, and then he woke up from his meditation, started wandering off in the villages. On the same day, at about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, he had the enlightenment. He was imparted the technique of ultimate sadhana by the Nityananda Sadguru, what we term as Holy Ghost or Holy Spirit in Bible also. In our Vedas it says, Antishantam na jahatyanti, santam na pashyati, devasya pashyakapyam, na mamarana jivyati. There never was a time that he wasn't there. There will never be a time in the future that he would cease to exist. He has always been into existence. So Nityananda Sadguru Bhagwan is the consciousness that vibrates at a very higher level of frequency beyond the reality of time and space. No time, no kala could actually dictate his ways. So according to Sadhu Sadgurudeo Maharaj, there are 6 entities which will always be into existence as it has been in the past. The first one is Parampurush, Paramatma, and the next one is the Atma, the soul itself that we all are. The third one is the Nityananda Sadguru, and the fourth is the cosmic executor, what we call the Akshara Brahma. Akshara Brahma is that divine zone from where the creation happens. And then Kal and Prakriti. But Kal and Prakriti, they do not have the consciousness in themselves. They are imposed by the cosmic executor, what we call Akshara Brahma. So the one who can go beyond the Akshara Brahma, which has been mentioned explicitly in Bhagavad Gita as well, could actually be called a yogi. Beneath all that we know today, because as it was discussed and as Krishna Murari just said, that what we have been doing in the name of yoga is just a physical exercise. And what we know in Ashtanga Yoga begins with Yam, Niyam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi. So if you have just one segment of it, if you just pick one part of it, and confine the entire definition of yoga, then it will not be complete. It's just tip of the iceberg. So in Yoga Sutra, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, it begins with Yogaschitta Vritti Nirodha. Now what is Chitta and what is a Vritti? What is that? It's the entire concept that has to be unfolded. What is that Chitta? And it has got this very profound message, and it's very short. Yogaschitta Vritti Nirodha. What is that vritti? And how to restrain that? What he's talking about here is, again the same thing. This body of yours has got billions of memory into it. And your chitta, which resides within it, makes all its decisions based on your predisposed inclination, if I would say. let me say that you are predisposed to think in a certain way, or you have a very different characteristics towards everything. And we all have been conditioned in some way or the other. So what he says is, the first thing, the initial part of the yoga is to begin with the restraint of the vrittis. It means the restraint on the predisposed inclination towards our orientation. So we are predisposed to orient ourselves in a certain situation. If we are able to come into consciousness of it itself, that's a huge achievement. Now we know that we will be making better decisions. We know that we would be doing better than what we are going through. We would be doing much better than what we are going through. Once we have this realization, we could do something much more significant. But it is also to say that you have to rise yourself above and be at a place of equanimity, where your mind is totally equanimous. It means that you are so kind of chiseled or crafted in such a way that you do not have your own coloring of things, that you can color X, Y, Z as red, white, blue, and purple. You have reached a place where your mind is conscious. It is not following a specific, prejudiced, rigid pattern of the past. And that will happen only once you allow the body to be segregated from your conscious mind, because most of it, all the memories which are entrapped into this body, is becoming a conscious mind itself. When the body is almost becoming like a mind, then it is a travesty. It is not a right place to be. Because you would be scattered all over the place. Because you do not have your own mind. It's like billions of the memories of the past are responsible for the happenings of your present situation. And we may not know this, but this is the reality. So yoga begins with the intensity of awareness. And mostly, if I say awareness, it means that you are in a better position to have this factory of this factory which makes all kinds of chemicals right in order. It means that you are able to control the very chemical reactions which happens in this body. Because these chemicals are stored in this body. And that's the reason why you do asanas. And there is a connection to it. And how do you do asanas? What would be the difference between asana and aerobics if it is not regulated by the breath? Almost none. Since you are supposed to move your body in such a way, with the regulation of the breath, it becomes asanas. And all these joints in the body are responsible for those repository of the memories of the past. That's why asanas are significantly important. And all the asanas are important for that matter, because they are regulated by your breath. That's why you do Kapalbhati, for example. Have you heard of Kapalbhati? Why do you do that? Because from your navel area, the abdominal area, are the places which are more prone for your negative emotions. For example, if you are breathing from your lungs, let's say that, like that, now you are much more prone to BP, high blood pressure, or diabetes, so many diseases. But if you just connect your breath to your navel area and breathe out, you will see that just by doing this practice, that's why you are always like, it is told to you that do Kapalbhati every day, 20 minutes morning and the evening. Why is that? Because this area is responsible for so many chemical reactions which are responsible for your negative emotions. So once you exhale, then actually you are just taking all the toxins from the body. So you see, the body actually kind of becomes a conduit of all the emotions. If I say I'm feeling negative, where is negativity? I'm feeling it right here, and this body is feeling that. Maybe I'm breaking into sweat, maybe I am feeling compulsive. But the very awareness of it can actually bring about that transformation. So yoga is all about that transformation, but to negate asanas, to negate everything is not appropriate. Why? Because everything is so connected. So in Vihangam Yoga, Sadgurudeo Maharaj went into deep meditation. He did give importance to the physical exercises, but what he said was, this is not yoga. And he did practically mention in his Swaraveda that yoga cannot happen with the inertial consciousness. When two objects has to come together, it has to be of the similar nature. And only consciousness itself can unite with the another level of consciousness. This could be described as this soul that resides within this one. Only that which resides, because of which this body operates, and which is devoid of all its repository of memories. Because mind cannot work by itself, it has to be instigated by what? By chitta. That's why Patanjali Darshan said, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. It means that if you could do this one only, and this seems the most logical thing to do at this point in time in the world today, because we are in this chaos. And look at that, how many thousands of years, how many years ago this was founded by him, the concept of yoga. And today it is so relevant that it is nothing but segregating the body from the mind. And molding mind in the light of its own, molding the mind into the light of consciousness. Once it receives the rays from the consciousness itself, it can work most constructively towards its best. Otherwise, there will be many more unpleasant things which can come about from the unfettered desires, which is nothing but the manifestation of its uncontrollable mind. But once it is directed constructively, then it can achieve everything, that whatever that you see today, and no wonder that the place where you are is the perfect example, and it is the epitome of all the successes from the Facebook to Google to Apple, whatever you name it, just about within a few miles away from here you can approach anyone. They have achieved everything through the power of mind. So, of course, it's the best instrument, but only if it is judiciously used for some purpose, otherwise it could be highly destructive. So it is very important that we follow the guidelines of the master, where Sadgurudeo Bhagwan, Sadgurudeo Maharaj, he said that Yoga, Yoga, sab koi kahe, Yoga na jana koi, ardha dhara uragh chale, Yoga kahave soy. His Holiness Sadgurudeo Maharaj said, whatever we know about yoga, and everyone talks about yoga, but the real yoga is ardha dhara uragh chale. It means all that which has been going down the drain, it has to be taken upward. Ardha dhara uragh chale, yoga kahave soy. And this is just one couplet, but it talks about the entirety of yoga. So the yoga that you have been practicing is just one small segment of it, but the real essence of yoga lies in the unison between the soul and the Almighty, and which happens only once the soul detaches itself from all the moorings of Prakriti, all the inclination towards any behavior which is to do with the Kal and Prakriti. Because as long as the mind is part of the Kal and Prakriti, it cannot reach to its ultimate goal. So, Sadhguru Dev Maharaj says that it begins with controlling our mind. It begins with taming the potential of the mind. And he has emphasized enough that if the power of the mind is to be restored and directed, it can bring massive results. And he has initiated few of his disciples in the process of Vihangam Yoga. The first one begins with the taming our mind. There are 5 stages that he has described. And in the Vedas also, Panchachkrinam Yoga. There are 5 stages of yoga. So what we are going to learn today is the first stage of Vihangam Yoga. So let's begin the very first stage. We will learn the second stage as well. But today we will be starting from the first stage of Vihangam Yoga meditation. So this is not the most ideal place. Maybe the Siddhasana is the most appropriate asana to begin this asana, but you can be right where you are, seated in a chair. Please bring both of your hands on your knees. Sit straight up. Sit straight, sit up, please. Close your eyes. Just close your eyes. Focus on the breath. So we'll sit in a Gyan Mudra. Our thumb and index is joined and stick, very gently, and all of the 3 fingers facing upward. On our knees, both our hands on our knees. We are breathing in and breathing out. Just bring yourself here. The mind drifts off, goes far away. Bring yourself right where you are. Take a deep breath. again. Take it very slowly. It has to be a very gradual process. As if you are able to see through your breath, breathe in from your navel area. Hold and breathe out. Breathe in again. In your mind, you can recite this mantra. Three pranayamas that we must do before meditation. Kapalbhati, Anulom Vilom and Bhakti. There are three sets of pranayams that we must do every day before meditation. Kapalbhati, as you know, is called Anulom Vilom Pranayama. There are two nostrils. We breathe in from the one nostril and breathe out from the other, and we swap between these two nostrils for about 12 rounds or 7 to 8 minutes every day. The right nostril represents sun, Surya Nadi, and the left nostril is called Chandra Nadi, represents moon. This body is connected to the universe. There are two parts of it. One is called Pind and the other one is called Brahmanda. The area below the neck is called Pind. The area below the neck is called Pind, and above is called Brahman. The head is called Brahman. So the cycle of moon and sun and the earth, the connection between these three governs the entire universe. So in the same manner, the Brahman that we have at times mostly gravitates downwards due to our awareness, due to our predisposed inclinations. But with sadhana, we can bring awareness and activate the conscious faculty of our Brahmanda, which is the area above our neck. chant Om together. We'll take a deep breath, and as we breathe out, we'll chant, we'll recite Om together. Take a deep breath again. Meditation with time coming together. Take a deep breath, and we shall recite Gayatri Mantra for 11 times in our mind, not verbalizing it. Never to verbalize Gayatri Mantra, but we'll just chant 3 times just to get into the very feeling of Gayatri Mantra, how it sounds. So please. We all shall sing together. Just sing along, recite along with me. Recitation of that mantra is very important. We shall be recited about 11 times before meditation. Now, just open your eyes a little and look at the tip of your nose. Just open your eyes a little, just a little enough, to keep your gaze at the tip of your nose. Few breaths. Open your eyes just little enough to be able to look at the tip of your nose. Feeling a bit uncomfortable, close your eyes for a few seconds. Again, open them. Just open enough to be able to keep your gaze at the tip of your nose. Feel with your breath. The two nostrils from where we breathe in and breathe out. The same place, the very first part. With our both eyes half open and half closed, we are looking at the tip of the nose. Just leave the breath. Just imagine there that you are at the tip of the nose. Your mind is there. Wherever your mind goes, it drifts off, goes from one object to the other, come back again. And be here, right here, at the tip of your nose. Mind always goes into the future, wonders of some event, some imaginary events that hasn't happened yet. It conjures up some events which is so much captivating to us. It always finds pleasure of things, of events, of our liking, or it is dictated by the events of the past. We go back in the events of the past which have happened. Either it is past or future. It never realizes its presence in this present moment. We are elusive to its presence. Focus right here on the tip of your nose. The doer, we are just a witness. Our senses are engaged into finding pleasures always outside of us, into watching something, hearing something. They're always engaged. To feel our own presence is so disconcerting, so much of intense activity that we want to run away from. This preciousness of this present moment is what we want to always run away from. That's why pleasure, happiness always resides somewhere far away from this moment, somewhere in the future. That's the nature of the mind. Mind is powerful. Only if it is directed most consciously. Bring all your attention right here in the tip of your nose. We are so outwardly oriented. This sadhana, this meditation where you are looking at the tip of your nose, is going to create a transit between the outwardly oriented orientation towards becoming inward. Now, through that transit, you are becoming inward. Through this sadhana, inwardly becoming more inward. They require a bit of practice, but with practice, you come to realization of your own self. You can say hello to yourself. Everything is available to you. All kinds of information today is available to you. But when it comes to ourselves, our own presence is at times so scary. Our shadow self becomes quite a problem. Through this sadhana, we can come to know about our own self, our own thought process. And if you continue with this practice, you will realize things about your own self. You will be shedding off all the illusions one by one. established in your sadhana. Sleep, looking at the tip of your nose, you feel uncomfortable, close your eyes. If you feel vibration, let out your eyebrows, that's a very positive sign. Your eyes gets closed automatically. Or you feel some sensation around your eyebrow, that's very good. And if you do not, it's also fine. Just keep your eyes closed. Sometime, 2 seconds again, open the eyes, just little enough to be able to keep your gaze at the tip of the nose. The mind drifts off from that. The right at the tip of the nose is very well. Guru Vinaya Jnana Prasad Sadapala Adini Vinaya Sadha परमेश्वर जीव साथ है अमित काल गयी ताप छूटा नहीं जिन सद्गुरु भक्ति सद्गुरु करो सद्गुरु अलख धन गुरु फिर प्रभु जन्म मरण परम गुरु विनया ज्ञान प्रसाद देव सदा बल आदि विनया भव वर्णन करूं या ज्ञान प्रभु तेरा है तुझ मेरा परत समन देवों का देव है परमा पुरुष का रूप बिन गुरु प्रभु जीव नाम मिले भटकी माया लोक छोड़ाय कर चेतना लोक निवास सद्गुरुता को जानिए भक्ति मुक्ति बार बार वंदन करूं सद्गुरु देवा सब काम महिमाय परम ब्रह्मवेत्ता दरबार में
Raghu Prasad Sadgurudeo Mana Hoya Swami Anna Yukti Koi Nahi Lage Sadguru Charana Satchidananda Swarupa Hai Mamaya Radha Bhagavan Bara Bara Vandana Karu Yukti Vedara
Place both of your palms on your eyes, massage them as they go back to your knees, and open your eyes. So this meditation is the first stage of meditation, and it has always been into existence. What you learn today is not something new. In fact, this is the most ancient method of meditation, but this is the very primitive one. It begins with the controlling, training of mind. Then there is a place in the body where mind is purified, and it happens with the proper regulation of Ingla and Pingla. Ingla is the Sri Nadi and Pingla is the Chandra Nadi from the both nostrils. If we are able to regulate the breath properly, there is a proper harmony between these two, that there is a harmony in the body. Body and mind comes together, and that's when we are at a stage where we are not disturbed by the events of the outside. Our happiness cannot be taken away by anyone because we have found harmony within it. So there are 5 stages of Vihangam Yoga. What you just learned today is the very first one. And once you have practiced this meditation for about 3 to 5 months of time, we can go to the second stage of yoga. So if you have any questions regarding the meditation, please do let me know. If any one of you have any questions regarding the meditation, because we do have the question and answer sessions as well. And I think we have exceeded the time limit. Since you have learned it today, it is important that you do it yourself first, and once you have mastered this one, and His Holiness Sultan Bhagavad Maharaj has in fact made a proclamation that Advait Marg Yoga Vihangam ko badlaunga yadi vidvat tum sadhan kari ho amar log pahunchaunga. And he has said that if one practices this meditation for about 6 months of time, there has to be positive benefits. And there have been many incidents where the lives of many who were drug addicts or they were into other antisocial elements, once they adopted this technique of meditation, their life have been transformed. And as Sri Murari was, Krishna Murari was telling us about the association with the COSOC. In fact, the association with the Economic and Social Council of the Nations came about only once it was established that those who practice the meditation, the very changes in the body, especially with the brain, with the alpha waves. And there was a spike in that. At the same time, they were very calm. So it was found that they were alert, but at the same time very calm. So the state in which they went into was of a kind of very alert, very active, at the same time very, very calm, composed. So either you are very excited or really depressed, but here you are really excited and at the same time you are able to keep pace with your emotions. So this alertful state wherein you are able to see through your emotions and not being able to be dictated by the events of the surroundings. And that's the real problem. So, anyone of you have any questions regarding meditation?
So, Sanji, we will have this moderation and fireside chat kind of question answer session. And in that also we can have questions from the audience, if that is okay for you. Thank you. So, thank you very much, Sanji, for giving us great wisdom about yoga and meditation, and also teaching the great meditation technique, how to control our mind. So we'll now move on to the next session, next part of our event, where we'll have the moderators. We have a fireside chat kind of session. Moderators is Jay Chodagam, who is a meditation teacher. He's a TEDx speaker and producer of Peace in the Park Festival and Spirit Summit Conference, and host of the Wise Leader Retreats after training and living as a monk in an ashram for almost 18 years. So I'd like to welcome Jay Chodagam to come on the stage. And next moderator we have Salila Sukumaran. Salila is the 4th generation Ayurvedic practitioner who has learned the Ayurvedic technique from her generation by generation, coming from the ancestors. And she has established here the Ayur Gamaya Wellness Travel Consultancy in this Bay Area. And so I would like to also welcome Salila ji to please come on the stage. So Salila ji could please give bouquet to Sanji. And so we'll have this session now, and over now the session to Jay ji and Salila ji.
Sanjay, thank you for your presence here in this country. Thank you for blessing. We are at a very critical time in the history of the world, history of this country. So bringing peace, bringing clarity is a very, very important need of the hour. And we are very grateful to you for being our guest, our inspiration. I have 3 questions. Maybe more from the audience. So, Salila ji, how would you like to do? Should we go one per person? You have a few questions as well? Okay, let's begin with a question about the future of this country, the future of the world, the young people. The young people are having so many distractions, and while there is so-called economic and technological development, there's a lot of hopelessness and confusion on the purpose for young people. We are seeing just last week, one of my colleagues' son committed suicide. Very well-to-do family, but there is a lot of hopelessness that is unfortunately captivating these young minds. And it's a very hard thing to understand why, when seemingly everything is going well, why these young people are not seeing their contribution in the world, their meaning of fulfillment in this world. Could you please share some insights on how can we inspire, what is the focus that needs to be, such that we find young people feeling relevant, as all of us have done for generations? Is the question clear?
Thank you so much, Andy. You have been a yogi yourself, and I can see that you have been visiting ashram for about 15 years. So it's very, I wouldn't say easy, but the personality that you have is quite distinct from the other. It's quite different from the rest of the world, because you have been a monk yourself and been training and living a life of a monk for 18 years. So, of course, you are a kind of elevated soul than the most of the people that we happen to see around us. So, of course, it's very important to understand things just the way they are. So it is not about the child that we talk about, the teenage, the boy who committed suicide. That's quite unfortunate. There is, of course, there is a plethora of destruction in the world today. And unfortunately, it is not just restricted to one zone. Wherever you go in the world, which part of the world that you may be in, people are visually distracted. And it is the fact that 80% of the energy of our mind is dissipated from our eyes. This is a scientific fact. Now, 80% of the energy of the entire mechanism of this, what we call the human body, is going through scrolling, seeing something outside, right? And of course, it's alarming. But I would like to ask you, JD, since we are here, specifically we are here in California, the people who are behind making this, who are they?
So there is, I'm friends with some of these people. You have very intelligent people. The Bay Area, from 1965, has consistently been attracting the top of the crop in terms of scientific minds. Innovation, so we call it the 3 C's. Why does the Bay Area continue to be the hotbed of innovation for the last 65 years? This is got 3 C's. Number 1, venture capital. Number 2, culture of innovation. Number 3, the climate, the weather. So therefore, we consistently continue to track. Now, the people who come here come with good intentions. I have friends, they come with good intentions, they come here to potentially have a change. They want to make a difference in the world through their innovations. Now, where the ship goes astray is when you have investors, greedy people who want to make money. For them, return is all that matters. They don't care about whether it's your child, whether it's your well-being. You know, it's like, for example, back in the day, the tobacco industry is a parallel. When money gets involved in the process of innovation, the purpose gets askewed, which I'm going to bring up another question later, but let us, hopefully I can stop here and I have answered your question.
So if you look at those intellectual people, what about their lives? Are they distracted by any means? I mean, you look at the lives of people who have done extraordinary things in their lives. Look at their lifestyle. We keep hearing about Mark Zuckerberg wearing the same t-shirt every single day. Right? So how poised they are like, how well composed they are under any compelling circumstances is mind-boggling, totally awe-inspiring to every one of us in the world. But very few of us could become that character. But what is happening at the other end of the technological advancement is this fiasco which the technology has created for everyone. And unfortunately, parents do not have time. They are busy working, they are busy making money. And who falls prey are the children. They are the one who suffers because there's no one to monitor them. Not everyone could be as conscientious parents, to be honest with you, in the world, because we have to be the right example and we have to be the embodiment of what we preach, but unfortunately we are not. So I would personally say that it's very important to look within ourselves. It's very important, rather than saying this is that, that is this. The people who are at the higher echelon of society have to take up the responsibility, and that's the only way we can think of rising above this situation. For example, how many of you have, let's say, 3 years old child at home? So between, I mean, it is to be realized by the parents itself. I mean, it cannot be indoctrinated by any school of thought, and I'm not here to kind of, give my way of thinking to anyone. The development of a child, in fact, occurs between, let's say, 2.5 to 12 years of age. And if you are not able to monitor your child between 2.5 till 12, it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And if you further miss from 12 to 18, and now after 18, if you expect your child to become someone grand, extraordinary, is impossible. Otherwise, it will take some tragic situation to happen in his or her life to change the course of his or her life. That's a different thing. That's quite an exceptional thing to happen. But if you, we usually, like the culture that we come from, I'm sure that you also do have the same experience as we keep hearing from our parents, that everything will be fine. He just, 15 years of age. Once he grows up to 18, he will have his own intellect. No, he won't have his own intellect. Don't say that. No, it's not going to happen that way. Now he's 18 already, 19, 12 already. And now just to kind of change everything about what he has learned is impossible, almost impossible. Yeah, anything can change at any point in time. Enlightenment can happen at any point in time. So it's very important to observe what your child is doing between 2.5, you say, what are you talking about? 3 is not the age. But the child is actually is speaking to you. And in fact, your child is not speaking. God is making him or her instrument to speak to you about yourself, about how you should be living your life, how you should be becoming the better version of yourself. So have you had an incident in your life where maybe your own child of let's say 4 and 5 comes to you and says something to you that you kind of, oh my God, this is what it is, I need to think about myself, but you immediately say no, or you kind of, you shrug it off.
ये बच्चा है.
ये बच्चा है. But in fact you are a बच्चा है. आप बच्चे हो. It happens to most of us. So if you have a child of 5 or between especially 2.5 till let's say 7, you should listen to your own child very, very carefully, because they are telling you something that you must change about yourself. Because they are not speaking from their own calculative mind, or they are not deducing some factual things from anything at all. They are just speaking from within, and you should be able to hear them. And I think if you are able to hear them, things should be okay. But since you do not listen to them, and after 12 years of age, now they are visually distracted by 12. By 12 they are visually distracted. And if you do not change from 12 to 18, then things will be too late for them to do anything. Now they are just distracted all over the place. So I think the generation is nothing but a replica of who we are. And I think this is easier said than done. One could say, like I could say that, do this or do that. I may not be following myself. But it is the truth. No one can deny that the generation is nothing but just a replica of what and who we have been. And if we are not responsible enough, things will go astray.
So the message is, service begins from home. Charity begins from home. We have to be the message, and we need to learn to slow down. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Satnamji. My question is hopefully asking from the point of view of women and mothers here. I have been practicing meditation and yoga from the time my child was a baby. And it is only now that I feel that my mind has come to a point where it can calm down. Maybe Vihangam Yoga is helping. I did not know Vihangam Yoga when my child was little. However, I feel that we mothers are so keenly aware of every moment of the baby and the toddler. Our mind is constantly moving outward to make sure that the child is safe, that it becomes very difficult for young new mothers to calm their mind, especially at a time when they really need that calming effect of meditation and yoga, especially in this country where we are absolutely isolated, bringing up our children by ourselves. As everybody knows, women thrive in community. And in this country, we are absolutely alone, just with a newborn baby. And meditation can be such a balm to our soul in bringing that baby up. Yet, biology can be our enemy at that time, because the mind is constantly outwardly focused. How can you help someone who is a new mother? Thank you.
Thank you so much, because most of them would not have the opportunity to ask, and you are asking on their behalf. The child learns from mother. Mother is the first guru. So you are the first guru to your child. And what I have seen is, I have observed rather that each one of us exudes some form of energy. We are nothing but a vibrating energy. And the child actually kind of imbibes all of that. So without being said, the child follows everything. You are not kind of instructing your child to do this or that, but the child kind of understands the signals very well. So it is very important for a person to exude the right energy. And I have observed this one very closely, that people kind of pick up a call and they think, oh, it's a child of 3 or 4, and they talk so many things that they should not be talking about. Think that, oh, he's just there. In fact, even if the child is asleep, you should not do that. Maybe you should just go outside of your room and talk privately. That's okay. Now you are on the phone talking all the things that a child should not be hearing. Thinking that it's a child or what. So we are not so evolved enough yet as a human being to understand this subtleties of human existence, isn't it? So somehow I'm not able to answer you, unfortunately, but only self-evolution is the answer. If we are able to take ourselves to that stage where once we are able to see the energy, that's only when we are able to be able to do justice to the role that we are most assigned to. Otherwise it won't be possible. So even if you have a family set up, there will be issues back home in India also. And as you know how families are, not everyone will be happy with you, with the kind of sari that we are wearing today. So, isn't it practical thing I'm talking about? Go back home. Now there are other family members. They may not like so many things about you, about your child, oh, you should do this for your child. Now they are also exuding some level of energy which may come from out of XYZ. Now, they may not feel so good about your aura, maybe you are very positive or you are confident or you are much more better than them. So being isolated could be a blessing also at the same time. It's just that your child could be the best version of yourself. How you are exuding, how you are interpreting things would actually be the right version for his lessons that he must take or she should must. Because if you are narrating things which is not proper, because this mind is neuroplastic, it can be transmuted in so many ways. Like anything can be interpreted in so many different ways. And most of the lives which have done extraordinary things, they have gone through all kinds of patches of darkness, the gallery of darkness that we can not even imagine. So look at the lives of 10 people who have achieved the feat of greatest achievement ever possible. Look at their lives. If you see them, if you see their life in childhood, almost all of them have been through some trauma or the other. But it's just that how they have interpreted what they have gone through have made all the difference of the world in their lives. So I think all of us are responsible, and I think if we could take up the responsibility that we need to kind of vibrate at the right frequency, or maybe we have to upward our frequency to a certain decent level, then I think once we are able to kind of understand these intricacies, these like intricacies of this energy that we exude, I think we would probably be so attentive that, oh no, I should not be speaking these words when Mama Child is around. No, I can't do that. Once you are awakened to that stage, then I think everything should be okay. But if we like, if the child is there and everything just happens without you notice, and you say things that you do not practice yourself, the child will go immediately that you do not practice what you teach. The child is not able to realize it, but the child knows it very well. that you are not the embodiment of your own preaching, or teaching. So I would say, go and study. You're not. Like that, when it happens to all of us. I mean, we just cannot be doing something else and preach something that's the opposite. So it's not so easy for you to be just by yourself. I do understand the concern, but at the same time, what you may be complaining about, who know there are so many women in the world, they would love to be part of themselves. They are longing to be in a place where they already are. And they just want to leave their family behind. You understand what I'm talking about. The women is like that. I want to be with anyone, I just want to do it myself. So the life that we have, who knows, I'm not sure, but maybe a life of dream for so many women back home.
Sanjeev, so the next question is around the role of artificial intelligence, AI, in the future of how we as humanity, particularly as individuals who are going to be displaced from our work because majority of the mundane jobs are going to be replaced by machines. And companies are already starting to go that route. Again, bottom line, profits. They can cut costs, they can take away human, which requires insurance, some physical spaces and all of that. They'll be happy to do. That's the plan. In the context of this world where artificial intelligence is only going to have a bigger and bigger role, what will be the role and the focus of humans who will be finding themselves displaced in this environment? Am I clear with the question? Okay, thank you.
I think we all are geared towards spiritual renaissance, so to speak. Of course, the jobs which could be easily done away with, like for that matter, like we do not need a person to clean that place at all. AI robot will come, will take all the measurement of this place and will clean it. So you don't need anyone to kind of clean the place physically. Maybe all the chairs right here will be arranged most precisely in the right order. Maybe human being cannot do so. But do you think that the sector like airlines, do you think that the pilots will be replaced by robots? Maybe the bleeding industry is the airlines, let's say that. You have the crew members. If you want to lose a lot of money, then you start an airline. Let's say that, because there are so many people involved doing the same thing, right? Because you have to check. And it doesn't require any kind of intelligence, not at all, but they have to be there. Now, since the airline industry leads at all times, they would most likely, they would certainly love to replace about 70% of the people who are employed. Do you think that is going to be, that's on the part, that's going to happen in the future?
They're bleeding, yes, they will try to stop the bleed, which is to save money, but yes, potentially.
Is it going to be that advanced? That air pilot will also be?
No, like you said, I think even in industry, 70% of the people who are checking your luggage, moving luggage, standing at the gate and checking you in, all of that, 70%, so that's a pretty big hit right there. And imagine, population is increasing, the need for employment is reducing, so now please, in the context of that, what happens to that? Take that example, 70% of the people who are now finding themselves jobless. What is the role of humanity in that world?
I think it has also happened in the past that, something came up and people say, it's going to take all your jobs away. It has repeated itself a number of times in so many ways. And I would say that there will be a way out for sure, but it's quite difficult to gauge through that what the way would be like. But I can say that by no means, like, whatever you have learned today, let's say you have spent about 20 years of your life studying about a subject. Now, AI will retain all that knowledge in just 10 to 15 minutes. And it will remember what it has learned for about 20 years to come. So it will retain the knowledge that it has learned for 20 years to come. And whatever you have done today in 20 years, you are going to be reinventing yourself. And AI doesn't have to do that. AI can extrapolate based on what it has done for 20 years and come up with better solutions. You cannot do that because your knowledge is eroding, or you need to reinvent your wheel over and over again. So AI will be advanced to that level as I keep hearing about it. So of course there could be a threat that who knows if a couple of instruments or a couple of robots comes together and based on what it has gathered as information, they can become more intellectual than you. And there are times people say that we need to shut them. So I'm like, not speaking on anyone's behalf as that, but I was talking to someone, and the person is technocrat in a way, and he said that we have to shut the robot attacks, AI attacks, because who knows it can pose a threat to human life. But I think we should be very positive towards it. It's an advancement, and there will certainly be a way out for everyone. Whereas the other species and the human beings, you see, no one dies due to hunger, a bird or maybe a dog or cat, unless humans have done something horrible things to them. If they are left to their own devices, they would be able to take care of themselves in the most immaculate way, the most promised way. They can nurture themselves. But we humans being who are so intellectually advanced are suffering all kinds of atrocities. So that's really strange. But I'm sure that there will be a way out once we are able to align ourselves with the utmost attentiveness. Because most of the jobs are maybe advanced industry as you talk about, maybe they are there, they are deployed there, but they can be easily replaced. But the other part is like a pilot maybe, because there, I mean, being a pilot is not easy. You have to be highly skilled. You need to know physics, right? And if AI reaches to that stage, then of course about 65% to 70% of the job will be taken away by AI for sure. So again, it is still in the air how far it reaches. So it will depend on that. But again, even if it takes away 30 to 40% of the job, I'm sure that at least 40% of the people shall be able to navigate their way through. And because anyway, their jobs were not so significant enough to their value, I would say. It means that they do further work on themselves or something. But yeah, if it is to the level where the people who have such an academic qualification or they're so well versed with so many things in field of education, if the airline are a threat to development AI, then of course, but again, it's not clear as of now. But I'm sorry, I don't think it's a proper answer to your question.
Not knowing is okay. Yeah, it's okay. We don't know.
Because we have actually no idea where it is geared towards and where to reach. But just to say that if I say, no, you have done radars, just for example, that there are so many people who are learned, right? Just based on your intellectual capacity, you are able to kind of address X, Y, Z number of people, but you do not have any experience. Now in this term, AI is a very good tool because people will get to know who you actually are as a person. Are you a spiritual person or not? Or you are just a learned human being? Now at times it is very difficult to know whether you are a learner or the person who has experience, who has experienced that knowledge. So if AI comes up in here, it will be much more knowledgeable than any human being could be because it has all the knowledge, like it's a machine. But the consciousness factor cannot be taken away here. So those people who are very genuine to come forward, and like there are a number of gurus actually in the world today. So don't you think that we need kind of a sweep?
So replace with AI guru?
Well, I say that the people, the gurus who are not profound in their experience, they will be replaced. They will be exposed rather. Don't you think so? You just have acquired some knowledge, fine. You could be respected as a scholarly person. Fair enough. Pranam to you. But you cannot proclaim yourself to be. There could be some gurus under the light of something, or they could pose themselves to be some incarnation of some god. Now they cannot fool around. Right. So I think it's very, very positive. Good on. I think we should be very positive towards it.
Santaji, this is a question I'm still thinking in my head. I'm hoping that you will give us some clarity on this. We talk about women owning their power as embodying Shakti. I want to understand how you can guide us to embody our Shakti. Because recently there's been the tragic incident in India, and I wonder if that young lady had embodied her Shakti, had raised her vibration, could she have escaped it? And then I also think that in our Puranas, there is Draupadi who went through Chirharan, the great tragic debasement of her character. Even though she was a goddess, what could she have done different? She must have performed, or she must have been an enlightened yogi herself to have been in the company of such great men and women. Yet even she couldn't. However, that is a good lesson for us that when she called upon God with all her heart, mind, soul, God appeared to save her. How can we mere mortal women raise our Shakti and get to that point where we can protect ourselves?
It was quite unfortunate. Indeed, there are few people in the world, just because of few people, these things do come up, and since it is a world of media, it goes viral. But that's not the point. The point here is that it may be happening much more than what is noticed. So whatever you know, it may be just a tip of the iceberg that one incident has come about, but who knows, it may be happening in so many countries that we may not be aware. But the point here is, it's not about the Shakti actually. You could be, a woman could be very, very cruel. A man could be very negligent, very nurturing. A man could also be nurturing, isn't it possible? So, any connotation, especially connotation about women and men, I think we all are the reflection of one another's attributes. So, I could have the compassion and love. You could have the fortitude and courage to fight. So you have the Shakti. But to invert, to kind of come to a conclusion the Shakti is to fight, to dominate the other is not the real reflection of Shakti. Shakti here means that okay, I can have your point of view, but it doesn't mean that you can cross your line. Now here, there is a man, it's not about the women actually at all, who is misguided or has lost his way and can harm someone, can easily harm someone. So, for women, it's very important to assert their right. And apart from asserting their rights, it's important that we create a society where no is enough. Our nature is very clear to each and every one that this is who we are. And what happens is women at times kind of are not able to come up front. They have to get the veil of so many things because they have different roles to play as a father, like a wife or daughter-in-law. So they have bigger responsibilities. They have to carry out different roles. Maybe that's the reason why they are not able to come up front as what will X, Y, Z thing. And I think if women could take a clear kind of demarcation and say it loud that, yeah, this is who we are. No matter, I think things will be okay. It's just that women have been dominated for many, many centuries. They are not able to wear their hat on their sleeves. That's the problem. If they can actually wear their hat on their sleeve, I don't think anyone could actually work up any courage to have anything that has happened. So it's very important to be unbiased society, like wherein women can actually say it loud and be assertive of their rights, rather than being under the guises of X, Y, Z roles because of the so many responsibilities they are assigned to. Because of being a family member is not easy. So men do not have this problem at all at times. Men can actually come up and say, yeah, can be quite assertive for their views, but women have to take up their responsibility and be assertive as who they are and be very clear about themselves and say it and make it very clear. I think this would be great, rather than just being under the wing of graces and airs. They should come out of it and be more assertive, as religiously as possible. But there's nothing wrong there. I mean, people may think, other family members may think X, Y, Z, but that will be short-lived for about few months of time, few months of, otherwise they will be okay with it. With the changing time, I think being assertive is the right thing to do for a while.
Thank you.
So my next question is around the role of religion in this world. So you're a religious teacher, we're here in sort of a religious gathering. And religion, as we see today in the world, has been one of the biggest causes of distress, war, breaking people apart, breaking society, plundering resources through history. And now we're sitting at a point where historically there has been a pattern, but today we have the power through nuclear weapons, with the press of a button, to wipe out the face of this universe, of the earth, multiple times. That much nuclear power we possess between these different nuclear-armed nations. So it is unlike before, where we fought with sticks and stones and some little guns and cannons. So I want to hear from your perspective, Vihangam Yoga, how is it applicable in this day and age in healing the world, rather than what many of these so-called religious movements have come to separate and say, you are this, and anybody who's not this is a non-believer or the enemy, the other. Could you please shed some light on your perspective of how is you and your organization working towards education and a healing?
That's the most important question. Thank you so much for asking this. If one